found you, but I did. I think because you might have been going to another place, and I was like, oh my goodness, will you come to Gilford? And she said, sure, I'll come to Gilford. So we are so happy to have her here and excited about April 8th, right?
Yeah, it's exciting.
So I will let you take it away.
Cool, thank you. So a little bit about myself. I'm a retired teacher, still teaching as a NASA solar system ambassador, which I applied for, many years ago and was accepted. And the mission is to give talks and presentations and help teachers about different missions or things that are happening throughout, the exploration as we explore our solar system and go beyond. And it's been very, very exciting to do that. So anyway, we have a very exciting event, and I have a lot of goodies for you. So here we go. Listen, my friends, and you shall hear of a daytime darkness coming far and near. Astronomers everywhere are preparing and shouting, the eclipse is coming, the eclipses are coming. So, and that is the first verse of a poem that you recognized, I think, from Paul Revere, that Rick Eames, who is the founder, yes?
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me, so I need to talk louder, okay. Did you hear any of that poem?
None.
Okay, all right. Let me do this again. All right, because I want everybody to hear it.
Only for the video.
All right. Listen, my friends, and you shall hear of the daytime darkness coming far and near. Astronomers everywhere are preparing and shouting, the eclipses are coming, the eclipses are coming. So that poem, as you recognize, came from Paul Revere. And Rick Eames, who is the founder of the New Hampshire Solar Eclipse Task Force. And he started from the day after 2017, after that solar eclipse came across the United States, in working to get New Hampshire involved with this solar eclipse. And I will talk about some of those initiatives as I go through the program. So today what I'm going to do is to talk to you about what is an eclipse, when will it occur, and why we are able to have eclipses, why this is important, and what the state of New Hampshire has done so far. And then there are materials and resources that you can have along with glasses, okay? Is everybody, just raise your hand if you can't hear me. So I'll try to speak really up, okay? Here we go. So we have three components of a solar eclipse: our sun, our moon, and Earth. I was supposed to move. There we go. I got to punch it a little bit. Our sun, our only star in our solar system. In our solar system. It's the only known star to grow vegetables. The moon. It's a natural satellite of Earth and determines our month. I'll talk a little bit more about that. Okay. The moon is visible, a reflected light from the sun, and that image that you see is special because when I was teaching at the Waterville Valley Academy, my students were part of a mission that was going around the moon, the Grill mission. and it had two little orbiters called ebb and flow. And on those were cameras. And my students were able to go around, click on the daylight hours, and put in the data, and they came back with one of those. Those were some of the images that my students did. So people across the United States were able to do that project.
Sally, what age were your kids?
Middle school. It's the same thing that we can do now on the International Space Station with what they call EarthCam. The moon has an orbit. It orbits the Earth in an elliptical orbit, which is not a perfect circle, and it's about 240 miles from Earth. We see, but
you left out the 1,000. It's not 240 miles.
240,000 miles. Okay, thank you. He's going to be my, he's going to, if I say something wrong, which is good, which is what I would like to do. You see the moon in different phases, and it starts at the top, and it waxes to full moon in the middle, and then goes to new moon. The eclipse will be during a new moon phase, during the daytime. That's why you need glasses. When we're out in the sun, do we look at the sun? What do we naturally do? What do we look away, we squint. Our bodies, and it's kind of neat, our bodies have a way of protecting us from the glare of the sun. So when we have an eclipse, no matter what, level, and we're at what they call a deep partial, we won't want to squint. We'll want to look up because we can. So we have a wonderful opportunity to look at the sun safely. As long as you have the eclipse glasses, or you can look at them indirectly. Okay, so what if the moon did not exist? I want to exit. So I spelled that wrong. Okay, there it is. Okay. If we didn't have the moon, our days would be much shorter. It's predicted that it would probably be only 8 hours long. And that would change the amount of sunlight, so the biology would change. If we think we have crazy weather now, if we didn't have the moon, it'd even be crazier. Am I still talking loud enough? Okay. Our time schedule, month, year, is determined by the moon and the cycle of what our moon, earth, sun system does. So our whole time sequence would have to change if we did not have the moon. If the moon didn't exist, I spelled it right there. Okay. Our tides would be different. We would still have tides, but they wouldn't be as extreme. There wouldn't be any solar or lunar eclipses to talk about. There would be no lunatics. There would have been no space race, no Apollo program to take astronauts to the moon. If the moon did not exist, there'd be no honeymoons. I wouldn't be here speaking, no lecture right now. No songs about the moon. No stories. Can you think of anything else? Yes. What?
A lot of the evolution of life on the planet happened in tidal zones where places were wet and then dry and wet and dry without the tides from the moon. Not sure the sun would have been enough. The tidal effect wouldn't have been there, and it might have affected whether life happened on Earth.
Right. Is there somebody want to come in? Okay. All right. So there's, and I was thinking, is if there's no moon, there would be no werewolves. I just came to my. So, anyway, but it gives you an idea that we think about our sun, which is life-giving, and light that we need, and so we need to thank our moon too. The eclipses will give us an opportunity to think about that system that allows us to have the kind of life we have. And I think that's pretty important for us to take the time out to do that. And this is our Earth, the planet, the third planet from the sun. Okay, here we go. So I didn't change this because one of these eclipses have passed. 6 months ago, October 14th, across the United States, we've had an annular eclipse. New Hampshire got about a 25% so it wasn't as exciting as the one coming up because it was only like a little bite out of the sun. Okay? And so Monday, April 8th in the afternoon, we will have a total eclipse. And Coos County, most of it, will be on further north into Canada, will be in totality. In totality, it will get dark. We are in central New Hampshire in 97, 98%. It won't get dark, but you'll still feel the difference, I think. Because you'll still feel, if you get in tune with what's happening in the environment, you won't feel the warmth of the sun. Will the temperature go down? Will the animals and the birds sense something is different? So it makes us aware that the alignment of the earth, moon, and sun, and I'll do that a little demonstration in a minute. Okay, so this is a map that shows over here, starting in Coos County, Oregon. That's where the annular eclipse started 6 months ago and went down through Texas. And those paths show totality. Okay? And so then we're coming up to a total solar eclipse starting, going through Texas, and going through New Hampshire at Coos County. So the founder of the task force put this poster together using Coos as a, and it's different how they pronounce it. They call it Coos County, but it's very different. Now, will everybody in the United States go to the path of totality? No. It won't be possible that as many people, it's going to be very crowded. Okay? So we can still celebrate it. There it is. This map, and you can come up and see it later, has showing you the percent. In other words, The misconception I had in one of my presentations is, do I have to go to that path to celebrate the eclipse? That path is there just to indicate the path of totality. The other percentage, the entire United States will have some aspect of this solar eclipse. But we are fortunate enough to have 90, at least a deep partial, which is exciting. So, all right. There are 3 kinds of eclipses. We're going to have a total eclipse. The annular eclipse means it's not quite in sync and there's a little ring around it. And then the rest of us will have a partial. Okay, so I have a okay. So this is a picture of the sun. So pretend that you are Earth and put your thumb up. That's the moon. And move it so that you can cover the entire sun. And move it so it's just entirely covered. And then if you move it back a little bit to see the edge, you'll make an annular eclipse.
Actually, move it away from your eye.
Or wait, that's why moving it.
You
So,
put your arm out full length, you can't cover the whole sun.
so,
That's what makes an annular eclipse. The moon is farther away.
right. So,
Some people might have bigger suns.
right. And so that's a kind of a neat little activity because everything is in a line. Now, the reason we can have a total solar eclipse is the moon is 400 times smaller than the sun. And coincidentally, the sun is 400 times further away. So in the sky, they almost look like the same size. So that's why we can have a solar eclipse. We can cover it. I guess in a few million years, we won't be able to because the sun is moving away. So as it moves away. Yeah?
The moon is moving or the Earth is moving?
The moon is going into a bigger orbit, becoming on average farther away from the Earth.
Yes.
I was just wondering, so what are we going to see the partial? We're going to see a rim?
We will see a partial. It'll be 98%. And so, which is cool. I mean, in 2017, New Hampshire had a 65%, and that was cool.
In 1994, we had an annular eclipse.
Right. So
One in the middle.
it happens every so often. Anyway. Here we go. So why are eclipses so important, especially for scientists? The sun is so bright that they cannot study the corona. And so this is their chance to do some actual studying because they can actually see it. So besides excited people who are what they call eclipse chasers, we have scientists who keep track and go to a solar eclipse as much as possible to get data to learn about our system. So from a scientific point of view, they're very excited.
So the corona, actually, they must study the differences between eclipses of what they saw on the last one to what they might see in this one.
Yeah, the corona has a lot of structure and it's changing all the time. And so the pictures of the corona for this eclipse will be definitely different from others.
It might be a mass
Okay.
ejection also.
That would be really interesting at the same time.
Want to see
Yeah.
that?
And the sun is behaving that way right now, so
Yeah,
there's a good chance.
So this slide just to show you the initiatives that has been happening in New Hampshire. The day after 2017, Rick Eames, who is right over here in this Eclipse mobile, the founder, talk about somebody who's a passion for eclipses. He took an automobile, a new one, and had the ring and the diamond ring painted on the hood, and he would have tried to be here, except he's speaking at another school in Canterbury, a Shaker building, but I tried to get him here so that you could see his automobile. He started, and New Hampshire is the only state that has a solar eclipse law, and it took 7 years. Now, in that 7 years, we had 2 years of COVID, so that slowed it down. But anyway, Governor Sununu, it was in the fall of 2021, signed a bill to say Solar Eclipse Day. It's like a proclamation saying this is special. So I think that, and we're the only state that has that. Okay. So in celebration of it, Rick Eames started with a poem. The poem that I read to you at the beginning of this talk has 5 verses. And I like the first and the last one better than all the rest, but it's a good poem. All right? And then he also has created a song from there's 2 of you, it takes 2 of you, and he put, it takes 3 of you. So, possible other activities, we will be having a time capsule at the Krista McAuliffe Shepherd Discovery Center so that people can submit items in that time capsule, and I think the deadline, I'm not sure, you could check on the website, it would be May 1st. And so we have schools working on it so that they can submit their ideas, their poems, their artwork, or what they did, all right? And then we have the Solar Eclipse Ambassador Program. And so what this is, it empowers students with the knowledge and the science and the tools to teach others. And so they can teach to their peers, they can go to younger grades, and we have at least 2 to 3 groups of students going out trying to present and talk about the eclipse because they're very excited. So that's what New Hampshire has been doing. I have a copy of the law when we finish. So the ambassador program, each of the students get trained, and then they have a packet of information for outreach, and they talk about the safety rules. Okay, and that should be self-explanatory there. What we're going to do is, at Holderness Center, and I hope this works. At Holderness Central School, these kids were eager, and so they had a program, and that was in the Concord Monitor for that program. And so then they created a video.
Something exciting is happening in the sky soon. Solar eclipses are coming to New Hampshire October of this year and April of 2024. Both of these events are going to be quite exciting, but the one on April 8th, 2024 is going to be particularly special. On October 14th, 2023, we are going to have an annular eclipse. This will be a partial eclipse where the sun is partially blocked by the moon. Depending on your area, you might see an annular eclipse, a partial eclipse, or a total eclipse.
On April 8th, 2024, we will be in the direct path of the solar eclipse.
And a little further north in Coos County, they will be able to witness the eclipse in totality.
A solar eclipse is when the moon, earth, and sun align to block the light from the sun.
Try this demonstration.
Have a friend stand 20 feet away, holding up a paper cutout of a circle.
The paper cutout is the sun and you are the earth. Then hold up your thumb at arm's length. The thumb is the moon.
Close one eye and move your thumb across in front of the cutout.
This is what is happening during a solar eclipse. The moon is blocking the light from the sun.
When the moon is in the new moon phase and in direct line with the earth and the sun, it casts a shadow on the earth. Areas in this shadow will experience a total solar eclipse. So for a small amount of time, the moon blocks the light from the sun, and it becomes, for a few short minutes, like nighttime. The temperature will drop, and you will be able to see stars in the sky. While this will be an amazing and exciting sight, it's not only fun and games. A solar eclipse also gives scientists the opportunity to observe the sun's corona, since it is normally hard to observe the corona.
Okay, before we go any further, a safety tip. Normally, if you tried to look at the sun, you would squint or your body would resist. Well, with a solar eclipse, it may seem like there is less sunlight, and you might have the urge to look up at the eclipse with your bare eyes. But the sun is just as bright, and you can do permanent damage to your eyesight if you were to look directly at it. So you can get these certified glasses. They are glasses that could protect you from the dangerous rays of the sun. First, inspect to make sure that there are no scratches on the glasses. Then look down at the ground. Put on the glasses and then look up at the eclipse. Never take the glasses off if you have the opportunity to look at the eclipse. Take off the glasses in reverse, making sure you are looking at the ground when you do so. For those in the total eclipse, you will be able to take off the glasses for a few minutes when the eclipse is in totality. But if you see any light coming around the eclipse, it is not safe to look at without these certified glasses.
So how rare are solar eclipses? They occur regularly all over the world, but the next total solar eclipse in New Hampshire won't be for another 55 years.
Wow, I'll be almost 70 years old.
So for many people, this is a once-in-a-lifetime occurrence.
The state of New Hampshire is urging people to come early and stay late for the April eclipse. People will be traveling from far and wide to see where the eclipse is in totality.
And there are not many roads into and out of Coos County, so make plans and plan to be in position for this eclipse. Also, leave plenty of time to leave.
So where do you get these certified glasses? You can get them at NASA and the American Astronomical Society.
Those kids designed that video, deciding the activities they would do. They got some help. We got some professional help who was willing to help us do that. But they decided on the activities, how they would speak it, and okay. So this was student generated. They've already done 2 presentations at the Chris McCullough Shepherd Center a year ago at the anniversary, April 8th. So, and they're also going around to PTAs and to different groups. So it's an exciting experiment, and all of this video was made available to all teachers. And so 2 teachers called since then, and they are setting up solar ambassador students to go out and start training others so they can be safe. And the structure they had for putting the glasses on was basically for little smaller children. They need structure, so you look down, put the glasses on, look up, and that's good for us too. But anyway, that's exciting. The Hill School now has a group of 5th graders that I'm working with, and they're going to be presenting to the public library with me on April 2nd. And another teacher in Keene with the high school is working on a group of older students who is going to help with their event. So, all right, being prepared. If you're going to go up there, it's better. I mean, you could go the day of. but it might, if it's a really, really cool, good day, it's going to be a bit crowded. So make sure you have your glasses. Make sure you're ready to stay for viewing. Okay, what's the next? So the next thing I have for you is I'll explain the handouts I have for you. Oh, I don't have this on slideshow, but that's all right. It's only one more slide anyway.
I talked to someone today who said a number of the roads will be closed.
Third one is the best one for right now. And that is showing you when this will happen. In the afternoon at 2:15, we'll start. I did have 1:15 on this before because that's the penumbra part of the shadow, and you won't see that. So it really starts at 2:15. The peak for our 98% that we're going to see is at 3:29 or 3:30. And then it takes another hour and a half or so for it to die away. So this lets you know when it is. If you have other like relatives that are in the path and you want to know the times, you search the city and the state, ask about what times it is, and it'll come up. There are a lot of ways to research this. Very easy. There's so much out there. And my feeling is, people have said to me, well, you need to go to totality. And I said, I got too many projects back here. I really do, and I'm part of those projects. Whether you're in the path of totality, which would be great, or whether you're here enjoying it, we can still celebrate it. And even with rain or shine, we can still celebrate it, knowing, first of all, we have the knowledge. When you think hundreds and thousands of years ago, when suddenly the sun just, everything went dark, that would be a scary situation. So now we have some knowledge that goes as to why that is. So we can celebrate that knowledge. We can also kind of think about, thank you, sun, and thank you, moon, for being where you are, because I can breathe and I can live. And I think we need to just take upon ourselves to be aware of what's happening in our environment. We won't feel the warmth of the sun during that time. Things will change. Animals are very astute as to how things change, and we can be aware of that. There also, if you're in the woods or near a lake or something, the shadows that are created through the leaves of the trees or anything would make great art pictures, so that you're aware of, wow, look at this. That wasn't like that before. So each one of you can have a packet, and I have solar eclipse glasses for you here.